With the NFL Combine set for next week, figured, hey, it is time for a new mock draft. All 7 rounds, mock draft 7.0. We're approaching double digits. I don't think we're getting to 25 like last year, but 15, I could see that very well being in the cards. Let's go ahead and dive right on in here. I'm Harrison Graham. This is Bears Now. Round 1, pick number 10, Will Campbell, the offensive lineman out of LSU. And I think the most common pick for the Bears at 10, if he's there, is Will Campbell, because I think there's a decent chance he's there, although recent mocks would suggest maybe he doesn't get to 10, but I think if he does go there, it's a very good pick. And it's not like an outrageous, unlikely scenario like Abdul Carter or something like that. I did want to mention something Dane Brugler wrote up about Will Campbell. He's his top offensive line prospect. He says, quote, Campbell stays balanced in pass protection using his weight distribution and controlled technique, although he could do a better job protecting versus inside and counter moves. He plays rugged in the run game and offers the body and fluidity and explosive power to torque and displaced defenders. If I were running an NFL team, I'd be keeping him at tackle until I have a reason to move him inside to guard. Now, for the Bears, at least in year 1, Braxton Jones could be that reason to start him at guard. You can slide him in at left guard. Jones and Wright are your tackles, and then ideally in free agency, you've signed Trey Smith and Drew Dahlman, or at least one of those guys, and 80% of your offensive line is filled, and you need one more guy. So I like the Campbell idea because it gives you flexibility. If for some reason, if you want to upgrade for Braxton Jones and you think Campbell's that guy, you can do that. If you want to keep Braxton Jones and play this year out and play Campbell at guard, you can do that as well. Will Campbell, definitely a guy to watch the Combine, especially with that arm length. 3-year starter at left tackle in the SEC, including as a freshman at LSU. Pretty damn impressive. All right, round 2, pick number 39. A player we haven't talked about a ton, but someone that I think should be on the Bears' radar with these round 2 picks. That is TJ Sanders, the defensive tackle out of South Carolina. He is an excellent pass rusher. His pass rush win rate is over 13%, I believe, this past year. For sure over 12, maybe over 13. This defensive tackle class is fascinating. If I'm the Bears, I got to come away with the defensive tackle with one of my first 4 picks because there's 41 of them that got invited to the Combine compared to last year, 25. It's a deep group. It's a talented group, and it's a pick your flavor. If you want more of a run stopper, go get Alfred Collins. If you want a guy who can rush the passer on day 2, get a TJ Sanders. If you want to swing big in the first round, you could get a guy like Walter Nolan. If you want to trade back in round 1, you could get a Derek Harmon. There's going to be guys available in all the different areas the Bears are picking on days 1 and 2. With the 10th pick, 39 and 41, and then also at 72, the Bears could find someone as well. I think Sanders, early day 2, good value, really good pass rusher, and kind of a fun combination to throw in there with Jervon Dexter with certain packages that Dennis Allen could deploy in his pass rush sets. Okay, if you want more Bears mock drafts and just more Bears draft coverage in general, hit that subscribe button. We'll have a ton of content from Indy this week. I'm not able to make the trip to Indianapolis, but we have a full team of Chat Sports going out there, and we'll have plenty of clips and content from players that we will share with all of you. So subscribe. That way you can get all of that content. Okay, just 2 picks later. Maybe a surprise. Not going trenches or even running back here. Xavier Watts, the safety out of Notre Dame. The more I think about this, I think safety has to be on our radar, guys. You look at this safety room. Kevin Byard. 1, he could be a salary cap cut candidate. I would not cut him. $8.5 million. I'm fine absorbing that this year because of the second guy here, Jaquan Brisker, who missed the final 12 games last year with a concussion. But there's a scenario where both these guys could be gone. There's also a scenario where both are here. But even, let's say the best case scenario, both are here, they both play all 17 games and are good. There's a real scenario that neither are here long term. Both are going to be free agents after this next year. Xavier Watts, A, would provide insurance, and B, is also a hell of a talent that on day 2 is really good value. He's a ball hawk. He can play both safety spots. 13 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. I really like what he brings to the table. And again, I don't view this safety room as a position group that has long-term options. Elijah Hicks is a fine backup. Jonathan Owens is an okay backup. If Brisker's healthy, if you told me the concussion issue went away, yeah, I'd give him a second contract. I don't know how you could do that even if he has a healthy year next year. So I think safety is an area they may have to address here. I don't think you have to do it this early, but I like the value of Watts on day 2. And if you draft him here, I do wonder if maybe at that point you would consider cutting Kevin Byard, or if you just roll, hey, we're going to roll with these 3 safeties and let the best 2 win. And chances are, if Brisker's on this team, he's going to miss some time, unfortunately. That's where Xavier Watts comes into play. And then long term, he's obviously a starter as well. Okay, round 3, pick number 72. I'm going to take Jared Wilson, the Georgia center. Producer Cullen, one of Cullen's draft crushes. Wilson out of Georgia. He's probably the top pure center in this draft, and what I mean by that, a guy that played exclusively center this past year. Now, he's only a 1-year starter. He was behind Cedric Van Pran, who we mocked to the Bears a lot last year, but I think he's much better than Van Pran. He's a better athlete, has better upside, and has guard flexibility. He's played some snaps at guard in college. I think he's big enough to do that, so you could play him at guard as well. He graded out pretty well last year per PFF, did not allow a sack per their data. So even though he's only a 1-year starter, he played very, very well for the Bulldogs in the SEC this past season. I view this as if they don't get Drew Dahlman, because if you get Drew Dahlman, that's probably at least a 3-year contract, if not 4. If they miss out on him or decide they don't want to sign him to a long-term deal and pay that money, maybe they re-sign a Coleman Shelton, or they have a Ryan Bates, and they want to draft somebody like this on day 2 to either A, start or compete for the job, or you're a backup for 1 year and you take over in 2026. It's possible Wilson needs a year in the NFL because he's only a 1-year college starter, but his athletic profile checks out. I think he's got a pretty good ceiling at the center position. Okay, so there are the day 1 and day 2 picks here. Will Campbell in round 1, TJ Sanders and Xavier Watts in round 2, and then the Georgia center, Jared Wilson, in round 3. Again, all situational. If you sign Drew Dahlman, you're probably not then drafting Jared Wilson. But if you don't, I think Jared Wilson could be an option at the center position in this draft. So what say you? Your favorite pick from rounds 1 through 3 in this mock draft so far. If you had to pick one guy, who is your favorite selection that I've made? Also, get yourself an FGB t-shirt. Right now, chatsports.com/FGB. Link is right there. Plenty in stock available for you guys to purchase. So if you hate the Packers as much as I do, whoever plays Green Bay, you guys know, get yourself an FGB shirt. Links in the comments and description. Go ahead and shop today. Okay, day 3 now as we continue with our mock draft 7.0. Ollie Gordon, who I don't know if he'll fall this far, but I do think at this point, if you ask me, does he get to day 3 of the draft? I would say probably yes, because I think enough of these other running backs in this draft have risen above him based on how they played this year. So someone's going to slide down, and a few guys are. And I think Ollie Gordon could. So I think there is a chance he's sitting there in the 5th round. And, people wonder, well, what happened this year? I mean, his rushing total was less than half than the year before. It's not like he was bad. He still averaged 4.6 yards per carry. It's not like he completely plummeted. But obviously, coming into this season, it was like if he has another huge year, he could be in the mix to be RB1. That is clearly not the case. Now, I still think he is very talented. I still think he could be a very good pro. I think he's an underrated catcher of the football. He was 6'1", 233 at the Senior Bowl. He's a physical one-cut-and-go back. I like what he brings to the table. This reminds me a lot of the Chuba Hubbard situation. Remember Chuba Hubbard, who ironically also went to Oklahoma State, went back to college when he was probably going to be a first or at worst a second-round pick. Production dipped, fell to the 4th or 5th round. He's been a very good pro, has already gotten a second contract from Carolina. I think that could very well be the case here for Gordon. I don't think he's like a Saquon Barkley, but I think he could be a guy that ends up being a starter in the NFL, and we look back and it's like, yeah, we probably overthought that one. Like, the tape from the year before is fantastic. That Oklahoma State season kind of fell apart. The O-line was awful. They couldn't pass the ball. Teams were just stacking the box on him, and he wasn't as productive. I still think he's a pretty damn good player. Day 3, I think the value is really, really good. All right, Luke Lachey, the tight end out of Iowa, can block a little bit, can catch a little bit. Those Iowa tight ends typically pan out well if you get them in the 6th round. He's a tight end 3 type probably as a rookie. I think that's pretty good value. Johnny Walker Jr. round 7, not going to spend too much time here, but had 10 sacks last year. at least per PFF's data collection. Pretty damn good. Graded out well for them. Again, you get this late in the draft, you get guys with some traits. He's got that. And then his teammate, ironically, the transfer from Oklahoma, Theo Weiss Jr., had almost 900 yards, so he could be a guy you take a flyer on in the 7th round, have a chance to push for a roster spot. So there you have it. Gordon, Lachey, Walker, and Weiss round out this mock draft. Didn't do any trades in this one. Little pre-combine mock for you guys. Drop us a letter grade in the comments. How did we do in our latest mock draft? A, B, C, D, or F. Want to get some new names in there, which I tried to do in this mock as well. So let us know how we did. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want more draft content, if you want more mock drafts, full scouting combine coverage next week with hearing from prospects. There will be rumors around the league circulating from the combine because all 32 teams are there. The agents are there. It's kind of just information kind of spillage, if you will. So should be a fun week, and we'll have it all covered here at Bears Now.